along the Japanese highway.
Tell me more about the platform.
This platform, called Focal Online TV Daily Edition of Inside the Print Media, does not encourage any form of dialogue between the viewers and the presenters.
Oh, you mean nobody calling there?
No, you can't call on a show. Let me talking out like when we're no calling there. So all you can do is you will listen to the news, and they can also encourage you to buy the newspaper to listen to the news in details.
But do you do viewer recognition at times?
Oh yes, we do viewer recognition. When you are watching, we notify you, and sometimes we even appreciate you on a show, telling you thank you for always following us. We also encourage you to share the live stream, because the more you share the live stream, we transform and we transition ourselves as a broadcast team as well.
Wow. So when can I better get this program you are talking about?
This program is aired every Monday to Friday at 10 a.m. to 10:45. The program runs for 45 minutes.
Wow.
And guess what?
Wow.
We bring you hot stories of our trending situation within our country, Liberia. Imagine hearing stories from Hot Pepper newspaper, from the Daily Observer newspaper, from Front Page Africa. Are you a lover of Front Page Africa?
Oh yes, I'm a lover of
Front Page Africa, and the Women Voices, and a lot more. Not forgetting international news, BBC,
wow.
CNN, ABC News. We bring you headlines from those standpoints.
Wow, that is very, very, very amazing.
So we say, join us every day on the daily edition of Inside the Print Media at 10 a.m. with the headlines of top stories in our country and the world at large on Focal Online TV.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on your geographical location. This is how I choose to warmly welcome you to September 27, 2024, edition of the program Inside the Print Media. My name is Kay Lyndon Toba, and Grafina is not here. She has gone to respond to some important issues relating to the progress of our institution. So varieties of newspapers here this morning, and there are lots of top-breaking stories that could inspire diverse opinions within our country, Liberia. So let's run strictly over to the Front Page Africa newspaper. Former Finance Minister Twe explains extended stay abroad was to ensure his legal return following politically manipulated indictment. Former Finance Minister Twe explained extended stay abroad was to ensure his legal return following politically manipulated indictment. This is what the Front Page Africa newspaper is reporting this morning. Another headlines on the Front Page Africa newspaper: World and Economic Crime Court tip to cost at least 60 million. World and Economic Crime Court tip to cost at least 60 million. So that is another breaking news this morning. It is from a feasibility study done by the international community, and probably they are coming up with their own assessment report about what it would take. What's the financial value it would take for Liberia to establish the War and Economic Crimes Court. You remember these issues about the War and Economic Crime Court. Liberia has always shied about it. The government of former President George Weah has always shied away from it, citing the issues of the lack of financial support and so forth. And Joseph Boakai had to come, and the U.S. government at the time has provided a commitment to providing the kind of technical and financial support Liberia needs for the establishment of the War and Economic Crime Court. We will definitely bring you that particular development because it is very, very, very important to us. So let's go over to the Front Page Africa newspaper. Former Finance Minister Twe extended stay abroad was to ensure his legal return following politically manipulated indictment. Former Finance Minister Twe has refuted claims that he fled justice, clarifying that his extended stay outside of Liberia following his indictment by the government of Liberia was to ensure his return under the proper legal circumstances, not an attempt to escape prosecution. In a Facebook post on Thursday, November 26, Tue stated, "Who and what could I be if I fled from my country? I had left Liberia since January 2024 and was in no way a fugitive from justice. After the politically manipulated indictment, I had to ensure that I returned under the correct legal circumstances," Mr. Tue posted to Facebook on Thursday, September 26. In July, the government of Liberia issued a raid warrant for Tue and 5 others, accusing them of corruption. Those indicted include former National Security Advisor Jefferson Kamun, State Prosecutor Nyanti Twan, sincerely apologize for the break in of our transmission. The technical issue we experience is one of the issues we really don't have control over. Our technician has been working to ensure that he restore normality. So normality has been restored. So we want to sincerely apologize for the break-in of our transmissions. So for those of you watching, keep following these live presentations. Keep following this live presentation. Keep following this live presentation. Keep following this live presentation. Keep following. Keep following. Keep following this live presentation. So let's go over. So let's go over to the story. Tue's indictment awaiting on Wednesday. Mr. Tue made a surprise arrival to Liberia to defend himself against allegations of multiple crimes against him and made public perception that he was escaping justice. Tue appeared before criminal proceed Wednesday morning, September 25, moments after he entered the country during the early morning. However, upon Tue's arrival Wednesday, his lawyer presented a property valuation bond as surety, valued at over 8 million United States dollars, which was duly registered, probated, and authorized by the law to be sureties. Tue on September 6 posted to social media that his first day appearing in court shows that Liberian jurisprudence is its funniest day in the administrations of independent and transparent justice. A rebuke, a judge rebuked attempt by a certain Liberian government to weaponize and bastardize the judiciary to achieve political glory at the expense of former officials of the government. It is a day that will rest in tender fame, he added. Since the wishing against my person, I have informed Liberians via this very social media space that I was coming to face my accusers and vindicate my name. Towards further that he was advised by several persons against his coming to Liberia, arguing that the intention of the Unity Party-led administration was merely have it paraded on justice in handcuff as some poster boy for the already doomed fight against corruptions. If fearless as I am, and knowing that I am innocent of the bogus charges, I took in all of the advice, but counted that there was no way or no chance that I could not return to Liberia, even at the cost of my unjust and politically motivated imprisonment, he said. Tue added that there were those who argued that it is within a judge's right to deny even a bond worth $1 billion, to which I gladly responded then that that could be my fate and I must prepare to face and accept it. Who and what I could be if I fight for my country. I could have led Liberia since January 2024 and was in no way a fugitive from justice. After the politically manipulated indictment, I had to ensure I returned under the correct legal circumstances. He stressed that there had to be men and women who could stand for the upright enforcement of the law as it is written. We who could resist the threats, blendages, or enlurement from a certain government soon to pervert Liberian law as it has already scrupulously done in service for dehumanizing political opponents for political glory. And so yesterday, as the judge dictated his ruling, I was entitled to build on the laws and a constitution that I am now under the jurisprudence of the court, and I am a free citizen protected by bail from illegal arrest or harassment. Tears welled in my eyes as I knew I could somehow trust our judiciary system. I didn't know it was going to be like this overwhelming, he explained. So this is how we move over to another headlines. This is how we move over to another headlines. War and Economic Crimes Court tipped to cost at least 60 million. War and Economic Crime Court tipped to cost at least 60 million. That's another breaking development, and you see on this photograph, you see the photos of several child soldiers in Malaysia here. Running a war and economic crime court is an expensive exercise no matter where it is held, from construction of court buildings and detention facility to salaries of judges, lawyers, and administrators for security and witness protection. Costs add up quickly. For the official drawing up plans for Liberia's plan in economic crimes court, the questions of fund is likely the most vexing. They may have drawn up the most perfect plans for a court, but at the end of the day, much could be dictated on how much they could have to spend. Early in the process, some officials have raised numbers of comparable levels, as the Special Court for Sterling, which spent more than 300 million in 2024. In 10 years to 2023 to convict just 12 persons, including former Liberian Charles Gange Taylor. But behind the scenes, international donors have told the government that it is fanciful. I don't think that we will find this kind of money, said Alan Warner, a prosecutor with the Special Court for Sierra Leone and director of Savista Maximum, which has had a previous role in cases in Europe and the United States over the last decade against accused warlord linked to Liberia's civil war. I really think that it is completely unrealistic to think that you can find 100 million or 200 million or 300 million. It happened for the Special Court, but it was a long time ago, and I don't think the UN did everything similar. I do not see where that much money can come from. The Special Court for Sierra Leone resulting from a special agreement between the United Nations and the Sierra Leone government was groundbreaking in many ways. It was the first court since the Second War to convict former head of state. It secured the first ever convictions for attack against United Nations peacekeeper for forced marriage as crime against humanity and for the recruitment of child soldiers. So that's what the Front Page Africa newspaper is reporting this morning. Let's go over to the Daily Observer newspaper and see what the Daily Observer newspaper is reporting. President Bouakar's Secretary General meet talk progress. As the United Nations conclude activities at A79 General Assembly in New York, strategic meetings and side events continue to unfold between world leaders. As head of Liberian delegation to the United Nations General Assembly, President Bouakar met with the UN Secretary General. The executive mansion, in a press statement published on its verified Facebook account, disclosed that Bouakar and Antonio Guterres met and had conversations around the UN progress as we work for the global well-being of people and countries with focus on Liberia's long-standing pivotal role in the UN as a founding member. On Wednesday, September 25, 2024, President Bouakar held a significant bilateral meeting with the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, on the margins of the 79th United Nations General Assembly. The meeting underscored Liberia's ongoing commitment to national development, global peace, democracy, and multilateralism. The statement continues. The Liberian leader noted that Liberia has always received warm reception from the United Nations, despite its bloody history. Which recognizing the crucial role the Secretary General continues to play in fostering international cooperation and commended his tireless efforts on behalf of the global community. Although the main and immediate former ruling opposition, Congress of Democratic Change, has disagreed with the president and his government and claims that Liberia is thriving well on the back of democracy and the rule of law is making its inroad into the society as peace brings. President Bouakar is said to have informed the UN most powerful leader that the country is progressing on the right trajectory. During the meeting, President Bouaká presented Liberia's remarkable progress in strengthening democracy, reinforcing the rule of law, and maintaining peace status among nations since the end of a civil conflict, the press statement said. Liberia seeks election to the non-permanent seat post of the United Nations Security Council, and the Liberian leader has rallied support both home and abroad, mainly on the margins of concluding United Nations General Assembly to gain access to the seat. It is an effort begun by former President Weah, and he has since given his support. Liberia is committed to playing an active role within the United Nations system to restore its standing in the global community as a founding member of the UN and the nation that has emerged from war. We are uniquely positioned to contribute meaningfully to global peace and security, the president noted. The president also said the president is said to have reaffirmed Liberia's intent to actively support the economic community of West African states and contribute to the preservation of peace and security democracy in the region. And he further drew attention to the ongoing issues of returnees, Liberia who fled the country during the Civil War and now returning to rebuild their lives. He expressed his government commitment to ensuring their successful reintegrations while also requesting the support of the UN, particularly the United Nations Commissions on for Refugees. It has been over 2 decades since the battlefield bullets, rockets, and grenade launchers ceased to be heard, and peace has returned to the country, but there are still Liberians who continue to seek refuge in other countries and worries of realizing decent living conditions in their own homeland. More so that a lot has been shattered and there is no sign of development to truly rebuild. So with this being said, this is how we will end today's presentation because of poor network quality here on our broadcast. And we want to sincerely apologize to all of you for the level of inconveniences this broadcast has contained so far on today's presentation of Inside Print Media.